Hello again in this video clip series, My Journey to God in a Very Secularized World. I'd like to begin in this video clip a new topic that you can find in an article with the title, Courage in This Great Final Battle. And I'll be drawing from writings from the Marian movement of priests. In particular, a good priest in that moment, his name is Father Quartilio Gabrielli. And because in this period of time, which is very difficult, no ecclesial movement will be exempt from the purification in this period of the Great Tribulation, not even the Marian movement of priests. I was happy that Padre Gabrielli or Quartilio Gabrielli, who spent much time with Don Stefano Gobi, had the courage to offer the following meditation. This is the first of two meditations offered by Padre Quartilio Gabrielli at the International Spiritual Exercises in 2016. And he gave this before more than 200 priests and more than 10 bishops at our International Spiritual Exercises of the Marian movement of priests at Colli Valenza, the Shrine of the Merciful Love of Mother Speranza, that was held in June 26th to July 2nd in 2016. The title of his meditation was The Movement as Work of Mary. Hail Mary. So he begins his meditations as follows. He says, Beloved, I thought a lot before writing these brief reflections for these spiritual exercises, and I wondered what Don Stefano would have told us in these times to understand the signs of the times in which we live. The current situation of the world and in the church is such that never has it been like this in the history of mankind and of the church. He writes, he took a message from Our Lady, a message to Gobi. This message, it says, day by day, your sufferings will increase. The crisis now underway within my church will grow deeper to the point of open rebellion, especially on the part of many of my sons who share in the priesthood of my son Jesus. The darkness, which is indeed already growing denser, will deepen into night throughout the world. Marxist atheism will contaminate everything. Like a poisonous fog, it will penetrate everywhere and will bring many of my children to death of faith. It will subvert the truth contained in the gospel. It will deny the divine nature of my son and the divine origin of the church. Above all, it will threaten its hierarchical structure and attempt to break down the rock upon which the edifice of the church is built. This is a message to Gobi on November 9, 1975. Even in 1975, in the beautiful message where she invites us to joy, in a much more explicit, clear, and detailed way, description what we are now living. And now he quotes again from Gobi, this message. He writes, my adversary will one day think that he is celebrating a complete victory over the world, over the church, over souls. It will be only then that I will intervene, terrible and victorious, that his defeat may be all the greater when he is certain in his conviction that he has conquered once for all. What is in preparation is so extraordinary that its like has never happened since the creation of the world. That is why everything has already been predicted in the Bible. The terrible struggle between me, the woman clothed with the sun, and the red dragon, Satan, who has now succeeded in seducing many, even with the era of Marxist atheism has already been foretold to you. The struggle between the angels, together with my children, and the followers of the dragon, led by the rebellious angels, has already been foretold to you. Above all, my complete victory has already been clearly foretold. You, my sons, have been called to live through these events. It is now the time for you to know this, that you may be consciously prepared for the battle. This is now the time for me to begin disclosing part of my plan. Then the message continues. First of all, it is necessary that my enemy have the impression of having conquered everything, of having everything now in his hands. This is why he will be permitted to penetrate even into the interior of my church, and he will succeed in plunging the sanctuary of God into darkness. He will reap the greatest number of victims from among the ministers of the sanctuary. This will in fact be a time of great falls on the part of my beloved sons, my priests. Satan will seduce some of them by pride, others by love of the flesh, others by doubt, others by unbelief, and still others by discouragement and loneliness. How many will have doubts about my son and about me, and will believe that this is the end of my church? Priests consecrated to my immaculate heart, my beloved sons, whom I am gathering together for this great battle, the first weapon that you must make use of is trust in me. It is your complete abandonment to me. This was a message October 18, 1975. And then Father Quartilio, he continues, you all know by now that this message was the last one that Don Stefano wanted to comment on with Franco, John, and me a week before being hospitalized and then leaving us for heaven. About 2 weeks before he died, Don Stefano Gobi told these three priests to look at this specifically. It's true, he, the evil one, now believes he has everything in hand. Even, let me say, perhaps a part of the movement, because there is a tendency to ignore and to water down the content of the messages that warn us about the errors that lead us the lack of faith and into apostasy. And so I note with deep sadness that the movement has already forgotten Don Stefano, his charisma, his courage, his clear talk. I think we all remember when he spoke of Freemasonry in the church, even if he said that Our Lady admonished him. Today, one says and does not say, but even worse, if one cites some messages of Our Lady where she says clearly the situation in which the church is living today, one is quick to deny it, even changing the circular letter. I say this with much sorrow, and you cannot hide this. Let us ask ourselves, would Don Stefano remain silent? Would he make known these messages that speak to us about the church's situation today at the mercy of the forces of evil? I might add here, I kind of forgot to say, that this is in the period shortly after, about a year or two after the death of Don Stefano Gobi. And what he's talking about here is that many in the movement want to close their eyes and take the easy way and don't want to put in risk losing anything. And so Padre Quartilio is a priest, a courageous priest, and he's talking pretty strongly here to the many people who now don't want to, they want to close their eyes to the great dangers in the church today. So that's the background of this first meditation, and then we'll go to the second one after this one. That there's a big struggle in the Marian movement of priests. Those who want to be courage and offer the whole truth, and those who want to take the easy way and maintain their prestige and everything else. So he continues here. I put also here in this article, and I published it, I put in my own comment here by myself. It says, many people who are part of the largest Catholic television network in the world, EWTN, do not have the openness to the signs of the times, the humility and the courage of their foundress, Mother Angelica. There is the attitude that Mother Angelica was lacking some prudence to talk about these things every now and then. But now, even after the death of Mother Angelica, which is March, she died about March 27, 2016, I believe, 92 years old. With much veiled pressure from liberal bishops, many feel more enlightened and prudent and more politically correct than their foundress, Mother Angelica. Every now and then on EWTN, one hears the attitude that it is taboo or naive to consider the possibility that we are now living the Fatima prophecies or other biblical prophecies. In particular, and now I go back to Father Cortillo. He continues. No, I'll stop here. May God bless you and Mary guide you.